Welcome to the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast.
My name is Jen Clark.
And I'm Elke Clark. We are a mother-daughter team who started our Zazzle e-commerce businesses over 10 years ago and have sold over $15 million worth and counting of products on Zazzle with our designs on them.
We had so many people asking us how we did this, so we created the Profit by Design Academy, a 12-month coaching program where you will implement the 5 strategies we have used for success on Zazzle.
When we aren't coaching our amazing clients to reach millions in sales on Zazzle, we love cooking food from places all over the world that we've traveled to, jet-setting to our next dream destination, spending quality time with our close friends and family, or having fun creating our next bestsellers in our own Zazzle businesses.
In this podcast, we share actionable steps you can take to make money in your online business using Zazzle. Each episode will take you one step closer to creating that perfect business, which will give you the freedom to live your dream life.
We believe that you can have anything you dream of as long as you work smarter, not harder. We're here to give you the tools you need to make your dream life happen. So let's get started. Well, hey there, it's Elke.
And Jen, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And today we have a very special guest, one of our own clients from the Profit by Design Academy, Sandra. And she is going to be talking to us about how she was on Zazzle for many years and was overwhelmed by not making sales and not knowing what to do, and how she has now become a whiz at understanding how to task manage and has become extremely confident within her Zazzle business.
From Overwhelm to confident Zazzle seller. I love it.
Yeah.
And Sandra is going to tell us a whole bunch of wonderful tips. So stay tuned and make sure you make enough time to listen or watch the whole episode. It is golden.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get started.
So hi, Elke and Jen. Thanks so much for having me. I want to share a little bit of my journey with you on Zazzle and tell everybody about the wonderful program that you have.
Perfect. Let's dive right in.
Welcome so much. We're so glad to have you, Sandra.
So it's kind of all included in there. I started to feel more comfortable, and I was looking at all the different aspects of Zazzle. And I finally said to myself, after the Z supercharger, now what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, well, instead of being overwhelmed by all the moving parts, I know I need an overview. I know I have to work on categories, collections, my titles, my tags, my keywords, and my mindset, which at first I didn't pay too much attention to that because I was working all the time. But what the mindset work did from all of your free podcasts was teach me that just keep coming back to it. Even though I'm still doing it, I still lack confidence and I don't think I can get there. And I started feeling more like I could get there.
That's awesome.
So what I did was, after the Z supercharging, when I said to myself, what am I going to do? I said, well, instead of being overwhelmed by all of it, just take 2 or 3 really important things, or even one to start, and take a deep dive. And that's what I did. And when I did that, I started to see greater sales. And I gave myself permission to say, okay, you want to just work on categories? Do this. You want to work on this one product you've never been able to sell? Do this. And then suddenly I sold, a whole bunch of them. And then I thought, okay, you see people, I used to get very depressed whenever I saw people who were up into 200, 300,000. I thought, I'm the dark horse. I'm the one in the group who's not going to make it as far as these people. I know it. And then I just kept at it. And I just started to get the hang of it. And it started to pick up. And then I thought, okay, it's not happening right away, but it's not going to happen right away. Be patient.
Yeah.
Let these things get indexed, and in 3 months, sometimes in a year, sometimes in 6 months, all of a sudden they start to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And now from there, I just keep moving. And instead of assuming I'm not going to get any further, I think, okay, what's the next step to getting further than I am, to getting into the higher income levels? And I'm retired now. I'm 71 years old, and I, need the extra money.
Yeah.
And that money is starting to reach where I was with my own paycheck.
Oh, wow. That's
Now
awesome.
I'm making
Wow.
almost 5 to 6 times as much as I was before. I'm not making huge money, but I'm making, for me, it's a lot more money to see $2,000 in your box and then another $1,700 pending it's nice.
It certainly is.
And I'm thinking, 2,000, that's not enough. Why not 3,000? So I was saying, okay, this amount that I get each day, I want it to go up another $25 to $50. And then I raise it and I raise it again.
I like that process. And how, maybe you can explain a little bit more how you became to think like that, because a lot of people get overwhelmed by the big end goal. And what you've just explained is like the little tiny steps. Yeah.
I chunk it down. And more specifically, for example, I wanted to sell some more expensive items. And there was one item I never sold. Shall I say what it is? Cornhole sets. Never sold one, and I tried some. And then I said, okay, this is where I'll take my deep dive. I'll test this out. So I started studying all the different design styles. I started looking at the type, the themes and everything, and I started making them one by one by one. And then eventually it sold, I think, like 25 of them.
Wow.
Then I said, okay, there's Z rank. My Z rank's up to 8 now, and I'm a silver now. That's pretty good.
That's super awesome.
How about maybe raising it more, or choosing something else that I've never sold? There was one area, I do business cards, and I've never been able to sell a bakery card.
Okay.
Now I'm selling a number of bakery cards. There's certain ones that sell more than anything else. And suddenly you find out 10% of your product can carry a good deal of your sales.
Yeah.
I keep trying, even if other ones don't sell, and keep trying to hone in on what's a popular theme. And, but I still have that little bit of artist mind where I think, well, maybe this isn't popular. It's similar, but I'm going to try out my own instincts and see if it works.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't, it's there. Or I can morph it into something that I see on Zazzle with my own individual touches.
Yeah.
What I try to do. I can't totally give that up.
Wow, that's really, really great as a tip.
Yeah.
And also your process is just so helpful for so many of our listeners that are going to be so excited to hear what you just said, because it means, first of all, you can chunk things down, even though that's what they always tell you, but you've just shown it works, especially to make it just feel manageable for you. And the excitement in your voice is just telling of the joy that you get out of that after, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I can tell, like, even the difference between the way that you're speaking to us now and when you first came into our programs, you have so much more confidence. And the fact, confidence not only in your designs and that you can do it, it's like confidence in yourself too within that planning, because planning is also scary for some people as well. I know from my own experience, to set out those little mini tasks, like you mentioned, that takes a lot of work too.
Yeah. And so the next goal was to get an editor's pick.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, I just took that deep dive. I now have 12 editor's picks.
Wow.
12.
And some things that dominate the first page in certain areas, like in certain kinds of business cards where I'll have 3 or 4 items on the front page, and others not, So that's exciting too. So those were the 3 things that I took a deep dive on and said, well, I feel better if I just take one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of the other students, I think her name was, I can't remember her name, Audrey or something. She talked about needing to pay attention to only one thing at a time because she can't focus on a number of things. That's exactly how I am. Mm-hmm. And I have problems processing information sometimes. I get overwhelmed by it. So if I pick one thing, I can usually succeed better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is the best strategy I've heard, because that's actually,
those 3 things. Then on top of that, I thought, but I need to hear Elke and Jen's voices sometimes and tune into those podcasts. So I did. And there were still gems, because even with the PDA, you don't absorb it all at once. It kind of has to gel. And you think you know something and you go back to do it. And it's like, I'm not sure, So I would always pick up gems. So I would tune in so I could sort of be in there with everybody else. I didn't always talk that much, but, I just needed to be around that, It was sort of like my home base.
Yeah.
And when I hear you guys talk and reassure me, then it's kind of different, you know, and I sort of start to relax with it.
Yeah. It's very true. We've had some other people say the exact same thing, that even though you're in that paid course or you're learning the material and watching the modules, you still need to have that interaction or even that audio sensory, or that audio, what do I want to say, that it's stimulated, right? You hear our voice or that comfort or that support. And whether we're in with you in that community on Facebook or just even the podcast, as you mentioned, just having that, that sense of I'm okay, I'm doing good, right? And
I can get there instead of, I'm going to be the one who doesn't make it. And that's what I always felt like. I feel better about it now. And I accept that some people excel, and get up to 200 and 300,000. And maybe I'll get up to 100 or.
Well, I think $2,000 a month is pretty admirable for now. Definitely.
It stays that way. I always worry, well, that's a fluke. I'll go back to 1,200, 1,400. However, I must say this. March, April, and May have historically been my slowest months.
Okay.
Not now.
Wonderful.
Some of my slowest months are now exceeding some of my better months.
Wow.
That says something to me.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it does.
Analytically,
Yeah.
if I could just think like you two, analytically.
No, very true. If you're
I was
slowest month,
trying, and I was intimidated at first about spreadsheets, download spreadsheets and do this there. I did it for a little bit, but then I started to do what you had talked about even more recently. Go back and look at what you've sold in the last 30 days, what you've sold overall time, what you're selling now. And of course, I go back and look at my templates, correct them. I was on for 12 years.
on
before I
Zazzle.
started making money, and I started the PDA around, 2019, mid to late 2019. And then I was like, now what do I do? And then the Z Supercharger, I went, I started to breathe more,
Yeah.
set my goals, accomplish them. And so now I'm thinking, what else can I do? How can I make Pinterest better? How can I, and I still work hard, but I'm working some less. And I'm not believing sometimes the numbers I'm seeing in my inbox. I'm thinking they're all going to go away. They're going to go away. They're going to go back down. But I don't think they will. And if they do, they'll drop a little. They'll be at a much higher level than they were for 12 years.
Can I just say, maybe you're maybe it's a good thing. I'm always going to tell you, you shouldn't say that to yourself. But if you ever had that doubt, maybe it's going to go away. That might actually help you work harder to, as you said, make those little mini tasks to keep it going. Because I wanted to ask you if you could touch on the point. So you've been on Zazzle for 12 years before you came into came into the PDA, or 12 years in total?
12 years total, I think.
Total.
And then
I'm there 12
Yeah.
years.
And so, but the way that
219,
you're
right?
speaking to yourself now, and when you were in that period of time before you came into the PDA, were you thinking that you could possibly make, let's say, $2,000 a month or even reach those goals? Or were you a little bit more wary and think that it wasn't even possible?
After 12 years, no, I didn't think. I thought I do it a lot. I work full time on this when I can while I was working.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I stopped working, I was working every day,
Yeah.
all day.
on Zazzle
Which I
or
often do
something
because
else?
I like it.
Yeah. On
Zazzle.
Zazzle. Yeah.
But when I was working it at night and on the weekends.
Mhm.
I still work a lot on Zazzle, but I still work less.
Yeah.
But for 12 years, I wasn't making that progress.
Yeah.
I didn't have any roadmap. I was, like many artists, judging what I put up according to my own aesthetics.
Hmm.
I didn't want to lose that completely. So then I learned from you guys, and take your aesthetic, see where it fits in with the Zazzle marketplace.
Yep.
Look at what people are looking for. Do what you like, but keep it in that realm, fill the need, let people be able to customize. There's so many things.
Mhm.
And when I used to see people were up to 200, 300,000, I still had further to go. I used to cry. I used to feel anxious and cry.
Oh.
I'm not going to do it with these people. They're never going to be able to.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
that's
I
fine.
always hung in. I never quit.
I think that's very admirable of you. And then also that you had that courage to say, I can change something. Because that's why I asked you about how long you've been on Zazzle, because for that long a period of time where you have seen very little sales or no sales, it can be very defeating. And now, even though you maybe truly don't think or believe that it could be true for the rest of your Zazzle career, at least it's happening right now, right? And you know that you've taken certain steps to get you to a higher level of earnings or whatever, even that may be confidence. And we tell some of our clients that it's not always the monetary, it's also the mindset too. And the way that you're speaking right now, I believe, at least from my own perspective, that you have much more confidence in yourself, that even though it might not be where you want to be, even in this podcast, even in here, you said I'm making the amount of money that I would be making from my paycheck in my actual day job at this point in time. So that's huge. Even though it's not $200,000 a year, that's huge.
So now I'm supplementing my Social Security, and
That's
I'm
awesome.
not going to do without it, really.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
But also, I think that, patience is important, and everybody works at a different pace.
Mhm.
And now I see that all this work, I've put in an incredible amount of work And sooner or later, the number of people who see it and start buying things is going to go up exponentially.
Yep.
And I have to believe that,
Yeah.
and I think that's what's happening now.
It's true. Yeah.
Have you heard about the Profit by Design Academy yet?
Are you looking for the perfect online business or side hustle that gives you monthly cash flow so you can live your dream life?
Are you a new or current Zazzle creator who is struggling to figure out how to make Zazzle work for you, worried that you're wasting your time and using the throw spaghetti against the wall to see if it sticks trick method, and unsure about how you can start and scale your Zazzle business?
Then the Profit by Design Academy is a perfect solution for you. You will feel confident, supported, and clear on how you will create a financial abundance side hustle using the Zazzle marketplace.
Imagine having access to the exact 5 strategies that we've used to build our Zazzle business and scale it, which we have sold over $15 million worth of Zazzle products so far with that method.
And that's not just us. We've helped our coaching clients in the Profit by Design Academy sell over $30 million worth of Zazzle products combined.
We invite you to join this incredible coaching experience where you receive the proven roadmap and hands-on support to accelerate your Zazzle business and make your dream of achieving passive income a reality.
Head on over to the show notes to grab the link and we will see you on the inside, or go to elkeclark.com/start-and-scale.
Now let's get back to the show. The more products you put out there, I have some products that I made in 2010 that are still selling, and they're selling quite often and in large quantities too. And so for you, even though you do have that passive experience of being on Zazzle for such a long time, you know now for the last couple of years, at least since you've been with us, that those products have been made intentionally, and you can start to see the ball rolling, right?
Right. Yeah. And I can even feel when I'm wandering from the path, am I doing this intentionally or I'm just getting intrigued by something? And sometimes I let myself go off a little, but then I try to bring it back to what's real on Zazzle, and try to incorporate it or morph it in some way or make it a trend. Like Elke made a trend with monograms, brought them back. Monograms used to be popular at one point in time, years and years ago. And then maybe younger generations forgot about, didn't see them. We had seen them before, but then they came back, and that, I've been influenced by both your shops too, just the strategies, not doing the exact same thing. And your design sense, Jen, I was floored when you said, I don't really follow the trends. I thought, well, they're teaching us to follow the trends, but you were filling the needs as well as using similar design styles. It just takes time for that to kind of, for me anyways, to gel.
Yeah. Are you talking about just the meeting that we had just now, or no? Or maybe not. I just actually said that I had a PDA meeting right now, and
no, I'm talking about in the Z Supercharger.
Right. Yeah. It's really weird because I remember I was just on a PDA meeting just now, and then I was wondering if you were in, but anyway, we've spoken about this before in multiple different places, but I don't follow the trends, and I follow what I need to serve the customer. And it's exactly what you just said. And it's exactly what you realized with your artwork, that you had that artist's, the sensation of, I'm doing this artwork for myself, or I need to provide a certain need, but now you're using it within the Zazzle customer marketplace, right?
Yeah.
And it's not technically like playing a game, but you're serving a customer, right? If you have a physical store, you want to serve that customer those physical products based on their needs, right? You're not going to sell bikinis in the wintertime. You're going to sell winter coats, etc. Like in layman's terms. But so for you to come to that realization, and as I said, it's extremely powerful that you have been on Zazzle for so long and just continued along, because there are people exactly like you, designers who have been on Zazzle for ages, and they're, either they give up or they just think that this is the end all and be all. Like, I'm always going to make $100. That's it. Right. And for you now to see the potential and to see the possibilities. And I like how you're realistic too. It's like maybe $200,000 isn't where I'm at right now, but I can move up in small increments because, some people are there, at least for me, I can speak from my own personal experience. I'm scared of reaching that huge goal and setting that huge goal because sometimes it feels extremely unattainable. And I get overwhelmed with what I need to accomplish to reach that goal.
Yeah. And I was thinking also when you had talked about not following the trends, but what you did do was you use proper titles and tags to bring people into the marketplace so they could see that they liked what your designs were.
Yep.
Whether they follow the trends or not, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I started, this is kind of funny, but I started thinking about the Kentucky Derby the other day when this horse Strike Rich, who was a dark horse, the odds are 99-1 or something like that.
Wow.
The horse was not even accepted in Kentucky Derby, and one horse dropped out.
Oh.
And Strike Rich, who was the dark horse who had never won anything, pulled up and won the Kentucky Derby the other day.
Really?
Wow.
I'm like a Seabiscuit moment, you know. And I thought about that, and I thought, well, I can be a dark horse, you know.
Yes, you can, girl.
That's Sandra's new nickname. I hope that doesn't have any bad connotations with it, but yeah, dark horse for sure. Anybody, like you got this.
Dark horse is more or less one that's expected not to win necessarily. It doesn't know, you know, that they can.
We can make it the opposite meaning today, and but yeah,
Moves forward eventually. Yeah.
I love that. It just goes to show you that, like, you could have also been bitter and upset and frustrated, or even just sort of said, that's it, there's no way. But you said, I think there is something there. And even though you've had lots of challenges in terms of, because it's true, when you start the Profit by Design Academy, which, you know, Sandra keeps saying PDA, which we use as a short form in our community, it's a lot because you're trying to start an entire business. You can't just, like, it's not a business in a box where you, like, the concept is a business in a box, because Zazzle's really like this nice package where you can just jump in and start a store. But the part that's missing, which is what we're talking about here, is how do you provide a service to the customer so that they'll buy your product compared to the gazillion other products that are out there. And it seems so overwhelming at the beginning. And then it's not just that you're posting products for sale. You have to make that switch and go, like, if I treat my store as a business and put in business practices and business principles, then all of a sudden it'll start to behave like a store or a proper business, and it'll actually give me that money because you're following proper business practices. So the 5 strategies cover those business practices. But when you start that first module in the Profit by Design Academy, it says, even though it helps you go through step by step for some of the product creation, at one point it does switch and go, like, here's the strategy, here are your choices. And as soon as people hear that, it's like, what do I do first, right? And I don't know if that's where you got stuck.
That's the thing.
Well, because
what do I do first? What do I do second? What do I do third?
Yeah,
Took being in the course for a while.
Yeah.
To just say to myself, just pick something and stay with it.
Yeah.
Forget about the rest for a while.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, it's exactly right. And that's the whole point, is you're building a business, so you can't build, you know, this here at the same time as you're doing this here at another place and this here in another place. You're only one person, right? Normally, it would be 5 or 10 employees, and here we are as business entrepreneurs trying to do everything. And that's where people come into the overwhelm, and that's when you realize, okay, I just have to step back and take, like, one thing at a time. And also, my business is a unique business, and it's not actually going to be the same as, you know, Jen and Elke's or Sandra's or whatever. And so I do feel like that's where people also get stuck, because all of a sudden it's like, ooh, even though she said it was step by step in the course, all of a sudden she's making me do stuff that I have to make choices. And that's where it's really difficult, because you don't have a basis on which to make those choices. And that's why our community is now for you for an entire year. And actually, we encourage you to stay in. Like, this is not for Sandra, she knows, but for others who don't know our course structure and our training structure, just keep staying in it. It's a yearly, but ultimately keep going, because as you move through each of the different phases and choose those different projects to work on and build the foundation of your business, you're going to have different questions. You're going to need different support. So certain things may feel like you can handle them initially, but then they turn out to be scary while you're doing them. And then that's when you've got the community, or you can ask questions, and you're just give yourself that credit that you are allowed to be overwhelmed, but you're allowed to also be part of something that allows that overwhelm to get diminished, right?
Yeah.
And not to feel like it's not okay to ask questions, or that you should know already that it's impossible, you can't, right? And the longer you stay in the community, the longer you start to hear other people as to how they made a decision, or also you made the first decision and it was really scary, then you made the next decision based on some of the things you learned from the first decision, and you also got more input, and all of a sudden that second decision isn't nearly as scary, and then the third is better and the better, and then, as Sandra said, all of a sudden you feel more like you can do it and you have the confidence. And the only way that you can build confidence is to know, like when you say I'm confident, it means you feel like you can do it because you've already proven to yourself that you have done that on a smaller scale, or something new that you tried and you did it. And so therefore you feel confident about that, which means that you feel like, oh, okay, well, I could do this other thing too then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just want to say to anybody who's thinking about it, I mean, taking this course was, I mean, it was a roadmap, an actual roadmap. I needed somebody to tell me how to look at this, you know, not just the overview, but there are different strategies and different angles. And I could switch my focus a little bit, work on one thing and then the other, but it's specific.
Mm-hmm.
And some courses I think are probably more generic. And I don't know, this stuck. It was more real for me.
Oh, that's great.
I just, you know, I don't think I would be here without taking these courses. And, you know, it took more than one, of course, but I wouldn't be at this level and making this more money. And, you know, I'm hoping to get up to 100,000 and then beyond. That's my.
I believe in you. We believe in you. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, as we are very careful when we say income claims, because anytime we're talking numbers, they're real numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we also can't make any future projections, but yeah, we just
Yeah.
love the path you're on, and we can see that you're implementing everything and it's coming through for you. And so I love that you've got that as your next goal,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully you make it as soon as possible.
Yeah. No, we are very proud of you.
Thank
And we're extremely grateful that you came into our community as well. Because as you just that warms my heart, like what you just said
Yeah,
in terms of I wouldn't
exactly.
be here if I didn't find you. And we truly feel like that's the whole reason why we started these courses and we do the podcast and we do our free training, etc., whatever it may be, is because we want to help people move forward and change their lives. I mean, make a difference.
You're the
Yeah.
perfect
and
candidate.
beyond the course, I feel like you guys have given like 150% because I could still go back and look at blog posts and different podcasts and stuff. Oh, I forgot about that. Or I didn't think of that. You know, so it's always there, which makes you, when you're done with the courses, makes you feel like you're still included and still working this program, you know?
Yep.
And so there's always something, you know, there's always some little gem or something, you know.
That's awesome.
And maybe at the beginning I was afraid to ask a certain question, but then it gets answered somewhere
Yeah.
along the
Yeah.
line when you see other people get advice. And you not only learn about the things you ask about when other people are being critiqued or reviewed, you pick up things
Mm-hmm.
about
Yeah.
their
Yep.
shops too.
Yeah.
So
It's
Very
it's
true.
amazing, and we are so fortunate because we're not really course creators. This is like our first course. I mean, we've done some mini courses first, but the idea here was to just help other people understand how this process worked for us and allow other people to become empowered, which is exactly what's happened to you. You feel like love the confidence exuding from you, that I can do it. I'm going to aim for this, and you know, why not that? And that just makes me smile.
Mhm.
It warms my heart.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and I'm in the long term now, I've seen these courses evolve and get more and more concise with information. And you guys also keep up on new things that change. And I thought, how did they find that out? How do they understand these algorithms? I don't get it. I don't get, you know, this kind of analytical thinking, you know, to that degree.
We're
I thought,
also
where
yeah.
did they find it? You know, and then I thought, well, I started looking around more on Zazzle and, you know, paying attention. I remember one day I said, I'm going to go look at trending. What's trending? I'm going to come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
And I found something somebody did that it was very popular. I said, I'm going to do something similar, but I'm going to bypass. I'm going to do as well, if not better, than this person on that particular style. And I did, and it's been my biggest seller.
Oh, that's
My
wonderful.
biggest seller. So and,
That's fabulous.
and their design was beautiful too. I mean, not to knock anybody else's design. They're great. You know, there are some amazing people
Mm-hmm.
on Zazzle.
Yeah.
So,
Well, exactly. And that just sort of speaks to the fact that, you know, the concepts are what people are looking for, right? The customer. And so you're not copying someone else's, right? That's the whole point.
no,
But you're bringing something else to the table, like, for example, what Sandra thinks should also be part of that concept that other design or product was delivering.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest thing for people to understand, because they go like, well, I have to make it like almost the same, otherwise it won't sell. And that's looking at scarcity rather than the other way around, going like, well, if the customer likes this one, what if they don't quite like this one? And another group of customers also likes or wants that concept or purpose or be served in that way, but they want it like this. Right. And that's the whole point of the Zazzle marketplace. People are coming there to look for unique and special things. So that's the key that people buy the product for, with the design on it, because it's brought that to a next level, or it's provided something that the other design didn't provide. And it is the secret formula to success on Zazzle, because it's allowing you to come into your own with your own artistic ability that you bring to the table, and allow your uniqueness to shine, which is what the customer's actually paying for, is that uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
And basically styles, different genres and styles have always been around.
Yeah.
And then they fall out of favor and then they come back.
Yeah.
I mean, people are always going to define themselves by, whether or not their house is rustic or their clothing is a boho, or, and people enjoy that stuff. So
exactly.
And I enjoy a lot of it too, and what I don't like, I don't do.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's another big gem. Man, there are so many gems in this podcast. Thank you so much. Because that's exactly it.
Thanks for thinking that.
You can't chase after something that you can't do or not, you're not in vibe with, right? If you do that, it'll come out badly, right? It'll just look like you tried, but it's not going to work and it won't sell. Whereas if you're in tune with it and you like it, and you maybe even buy some of the stuff yourself in terms of, that style or that trend, then you're going to have so much more that you bring to the table with your own designs that you put on those products that will make the difference between a seller and a non-seller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I found that there are a couple of different styles that people really like of mine. They want over and over again. And so I keep doing them.
Of course.
They're a little different, and then I might say, well, I could take this and leverage it somewhere else. That was the other thing. And you guys taught us how to leverage. Oh my goodness.
I know. Gosh.
Yeah. We're going to have a label on this podcast, like everything revealed. No, it's true. Well, we're just here to help, right? We're here to help you understand you're running a business, rather than it just being, let's put some designs up and get some quick cash. Mm-hmm. Right? That's not what we're doing. And also anyone who came to Zazzle, like maybe yourself, where you're like, I think this would work, but then it doesn't work. That was the one shift, right? It was a big, big shift. It's like, okay, maybe I'm not a bad designer. I'm a good designer, because you've proven that. You just needed to understand how to design for the person that's willing to pay for it on the Zazzle marketplace. And that is so, so, so important. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So we want to say a big, big thank you to Sandra for being on our podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful journey with us and showing us and telling us about how you became confident after being overwhelmed. And then all of the tips that you gave us on this podcast will definitely resonate with our listeners. And thank you so much for opening your heart and sharing your experience with us.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, Sandra.
Oh, thank you guys so much for all your help. And I was so happy to share this with you. I was a little nervous at first, but then I felt better after a while. So it was wonderful. Thank you so much.
You did a stellar job, and we're so happy that you shared everything with us.
Our listeners are going to be so happy, because they had heard so many gems, because I feel you've done a great job of resonating with a lot of people, because there's a lot of people that are in your shoes, and they're just going to say, look how Sandra overcame this, and I can do it too. Mm-hmm. You're going to inspire a lot of people.
Yes.
But that's important to me, especially the people who have trepidation or get stage fright or just, that type of feeling when they're working on stuff like this.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
And I was just going to say,
guys, so much for everything. And I will see you again. And always let me know when there are more courses coming up or podcasts or everything. I get them, and I always look at those emails. So
yes, we definitely will. Thank you for being with us. And then to all of our listeners, thank you for listening in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
See you here back next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast with us, Jen and Elke Clark.
We hope this episode has given you actionable steps to building your online business that gives you the monthly cash flow you want while working less and living more.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Each review helps us reach more entrepreneurs like you working to create a profitable e-commerce online business.
Follow us on Instagram at Ms. Jen Clark and at Elke Clark, and DM us with your biggest takeaway from today's episode. See you back here next week.